We've touched upon the sci-fi fantasy version of the Barbarian. The name is the Juggernaut, correct?
Yeah, and we wanted this to be a sibling to the Esper, of where Espers have this incredible font of psionic power and their minds are able to go beyond. The Juggernaut has an incredible well of kinetic energy in their body, and they are able to push their body beyond normal limits. And the baseline, if you want to basically be the Hulk that smashes through walls, that you feel like a kaiju, or you feel like just the alien monstrosity that's smashing through walls, grabbing a dude, hitting it with another dude, beating things up, smashing, trampling, that is the Rampager. And we wanted to make sure that that hit that fantasy for if you wanted to have your party member warn the enemy, let the Wookiee win, or they're going to rip your arms off. That sort of vibe, we had to have the Rampager for that. And then another classic fantasy that we wanted to hit in the Outrunner's Handbook is the Scrapper. And so these are the road warriors that are going through the junkyards and the wastelands, and they're enhancing themselves through technology. And so they're channeling their surge through their scrap tech that they're making, allowing them to customize their options and really have the flexibility of the scrappy technology and the strange contraptions that they're using.
In the Overdrive expansion, we have two very fun, kind of a little more out there, you'll notice a trend, a little more out there thematically in terms of your classic sci-fi tropes. The first is the Mutant. And so this is your classic mutated barbarian where, I mean, mutation and toxic goo was huge in the 80s and 90s, and we really wanted to hit that. So if you want to grow a tentacle out of your arm or have weird mouths growing all over your body, maybe you have the mutations because you contacted the void and there's this like eldritch corruption. Maybe you got splashed with acid or radiation that made you change in those ways.
The ooze.
Yes, the ooze. But, you know, in either way, these mutations are enhancing your combat, allowing your arms and legs and mouth and everything about you to physically change to enhance your combat ability. And then finally, my personal favorite Juggernaut subclass is the Eternal. One of the most ubiquitous things about the 80s and 90s are action figures, and all of the classic TV shows that came with all those action figures, like Thundercats or He-Man. And so this Juggernaut, you found some kind of ancient artifact in a temple, or it was gifted to you as a family heirloom, and when you grab it and utilize it, it gives you immense powers. And so you can go from looking like a dweeby little accountant, and all of a sudden you grab a sword or you put on a tiara, and you have a magical girl transformation effectively, and gain great strength. And even your enemies won't even necessarily recognize you. They have to pass a very high intelligence check to know that it's the same person. So we really wanted to sell that flavor of, you know, wielding the Sword of Omens, shooting energy blasts, and being able to accomplish great feats of strength, both kind of body and this ancient energy.
It's the most magical of the Juggernauts, and we wanted to make sure that we had that option.
The Juggernaut is psionic, but through controlling their own body, their own movement, momentum, not reaching externally in the form of spells. It's focusing it internally to make themselves a Juggernaut.
And how does that manifest?
Right. So we call their signature ability that they use Surge. And so when you unleash or activate your Surge, it is this internal reserve of psionic power that ramps your physical capabilities through the roof. It cranks up your metabolism, you shrug off damage. Oh, here's one of the important mechanical changes. So in a sci-fi setting, the standard bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, like sure, there will be some weapons that do that, but there's a lot of laser guns. I don't know if anyone let you in on this secret. So the Juggernaut, instead of getting those 3 standard damage resistances, they have a list to pick from, and they get to pick 3.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so in addition to the bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, they can also choose from fire or radiant.
Tell me about the subclasses that are coming with the Juggernaut.
So for the Juggernaut subclasses in book 1, we've got the Rampager and the Scrapper.
Okay.
The Rampager takes all that stuff I said about the Juggernaut and just cranks it up to 11. So this is the one where if you want to play someone like the Juggernaut, this is the place for you. This is where you take that control of your own sort of kinetic energy, your momentum, your force, and you use that as your weapon. You ever wanted to hit a guy with another guy?
Yeah.
The Rampager's going to do it. Another thing, one of the things that I enjoy about them is they can, once they start going, they don't want to stop, where they can hit an obstacle and deal extra damage to it. And if they break through the obstacle, they keep going.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's a very specific fantasy, but I love that.
Yeah.
And what's the next one?
The next one is the Scrapper. So this is a Juggernaut where they sort of extend their the sort of internal energies of their surge into the gear around them that they use, and they kind of cobble it together on the fly.
Oh, wow.
It's a little bit like these weird scrap guns that they cobble together, and they can fire these chain harpoons with grappling hooks to pull you in closer, to pull you.
Such a good sci-fi trope.
Oh, yeah.
Building it. I mean, like even outside sci-fi, I mean, like Constantine building his own gun in the film. But like, yeah, how many times have we seen Andor? Andor has a great moment where he's like cobbling together a gun and also
it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Together weapons.
And this is not the precision of a machinist.
Exactly.
This is dirty, nasty, cobbled together, shouldn't work. And the machinist will look at this and go, "You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? This is ridiculous." But it works because the Scrapper believes it works and pours their energy into that, and it makes it happen.
I love a barbarian that makes weapons because they believe it should work.
Yep.
That's such a good role RP moment too.
Yeah,
Like you said, to have the machinist look at the barbarian like that doesn't physically make sense.
Yeah, you do not make sense.
The physics of what you just did, this doesn't work.
Yeah, I love it. No, I can't wait to see what people do with
That
this.
is so charming. I think that might be my favorite subclass right now.
Yeah.
Moving on to Overdrive, where we get two more.
Jumping into overdrive weirdness for the Juggernaut, we've got the Eternal.
I thought we were already weird, but okay.
Yeah, well, we're getting weirder. We have got the Eternal and the Mutant.
Okay.
So the Eternal, and we've had one of the Evantris crew playing one of these in the preview game, so you can check it out if you want to. It is, you have a conduit of sorts, an item of power, and that sort of lets you focus and enhance your surge. And when you do, you become someone else. So when you activate your surge with this item, you become a different person. And maybe people don't recognize you because you look completely different while you're in your powered up state.
Where did that come from? That is so wild.
A little Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah, okay.
A little Prince Adam and He-Man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
A little bit of, Lion-O with the Sword of Omens, that kind of thing.
You're right. You got me. You got me. It all sci-fi coded. Yeah.
Yeah. So not only will you sort of be unrecognizable as yourself and be able to have a little secret identity.
Yeah, dual identity. Yeah,
but you create this sort of aura of just kind of excellence and leadership around you. This is a little bit of a leader barbarian.
Oh, that's
where
great.
you're kind of making your allies around you a little better.
And you're right. Those are all leadership type figures.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird that is.
Isn't that fun?
Why is that connected? There had been so much discovery looking back at our childhoods at cartoons and themes having to do with identity and leader, like that fact, like I would have never thought about that.
Yeah. And a lot of this came out of just kind of working through it, where the idea was there. And I'll admit, I was skeptical about this one. I really didn't know how to crack this particular nut. And we had a writer's call where all designers were just sort of riffing ideas, and Brenda Stoddard actually ended up nailing this one. Like out of that conversation that we had with Mikey and Richie and everybody else in the room who was there, all the other designers, and just kicking ideas around and figuring it out, and then he came back with just a banger of a subclass.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And now we've got a fourth one.
We do. We have the Mutant. So you have a lot of options on how you want to define this. I mean, you could touch on some Ben 10 type stuff here if you wanted to a little bit. You could do some, there's plenty of animes where, you have some alien parasite that, now you have a tentacle with spikes on it. So when the mutant surges, they unleash these mutations, and it could be surgical grafts. It could be they've had their genetics sort of magically manipulated and fused with other aliens, and now they can manifest those traits.
That's perfect. Or like the long-term exposure to whatever, like it's radiation, chemicals, and stuff like that have influenced you as a juggernaut. Or
maybe one of the important concepts in this setting is the concept of world souls, where any habitable planet that can support, humanoid people-like life, it has a world soul. And those world souls have an essence to them, and that shapes the planet. So if you think of, an ice planet where the Yongu live, their world soul is icy and frigid and sort of isolated, and that permeates the whole world. If you're a juggernaut that grows up on a world that is shifting from one form of life to another, that is blending things together. Maybe there's a lot of chimeric style creatures and aliens that live on this world. Maybe you absorb that as your ability to surge comes to fruition.